Good morning, speech students, or good afternoon, depending on when you're watching the video. This is Mrs. Corey, Colleen Corey, and I wanted to touch base with you today and do a lesson about our WH questions that are so important to ask when we're reading a story or a paragraph, or even when we're just working throughout our day. So I'm going to give you some short stories, and with these short stories, I'll ask some questions at the end. I'll kind of pause, leave time for you to think about the answer, and then I'll give you the answers, obviously. So let's start with our first one, and it's called Jack in the Jungle. Wait, that's going to be backwards maybe, but that's okay. Jack in the Jungle. Jack went on a jungle safari in Africa. In the jungle, he saw monkeys, snakes, elephants, and leopards. At the end of his trip, he came home to the United States. Can you remember who went on the trip? Who went on the trip? The main character was Jack, and that is who went on the trip. Where did Jack go? Think about the country that he went to. Jack went to Africa. And our last question, what did he see in the jungle? Remember, he mentioned 4 different animals. Can you remember them? Here they are: monkeys, snakes, elephants, and leopards. Okay, so good job with your first set of questions for Jack in the Jungle. Let's try another short story. This one's called Scarecrow Joe. Oops, there's a picture of Scarecrow Joe. Here's our short story about Scarecrow Joe. Joe was a scarecrow. He lived in a cornfield. Instead of scaring the crows away, he made friends with them. The crows liked Joe's big smile. They sat on his arms every day. Okay, so our first question about this story is, what was the scarecrow's name? I think that's an easy one. It's Joe. The second question is, where did he live? Can you remember where he lived? If you're not sure, did he live in a cornfield or did he live in a jungle? He lived in the cornfield. Why did the crows like Joe? Can you remember the answer for that one? They liked his big smile. I like all of your big smiles too, and I'm missing those every single day that I don't get to see you at school. So I hope you're all doing a great job at home. We're being good for our moms, dads, grandmas, grandpas, aunts, uncles, big brothers, big sisters, whoever might be home with us during this time. All right, the bonus question was, where did the crows sit? Did they sit on the scarecrow's head, or did they sit on his arms every day? You are right. They sat on his arms every day. All right, here's our next short story. It's called Rosies Rainbow. After it rained, Rosie saw a beautiful rainbow in the sky. It had these colors: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and violet. I smile whenever I see a rainbow, said Rosie. After the rain had stopped, the rainbow went away. So when did Rosie see the rainbow? Was it right after it rained, or was it right before bedtime? She saw the rainbow right after it rained. When did the rainbow go away? It went away not long after that rain shower. Remember, we only see rainbows for a very short period of time after it rains. We need rain and sunshine to be able to see a rainbow. What would Rosie do when she saw a rainbow? Would she frown or would she smile? Yeah, Rosie was smiling every time she saw the rainbow. It was so beautiful. Can you remember what colors were in the rainbow? We listed 6 different colors. Let's try to think of them. I'm going to hold up a finger and try to name one. Now name a second color. How about 3, 4, 5, and 6. It's always hard to remember the last color. Let's go through the colors. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple. So those were the 6 colors they mentioned in the rainbow. You might have learned the colors of the rainbow with the acronym Roy G. Biv, which stands for red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. So that would be 7. So blue is like a regular blue, indigo is a really dark blue, and then violet's purple. So either of those answers would be right. I know some of you know all those. Okay, let's go on to our next story. This one's about a lizard. His name is Leo, Leo the lizard. This one's called Looking for Leo the Lizard. On Monday, Tess thought her pet lizard Leo was lost. She looked in the closet and in the garage. Finally, she looked in his cage. There you are, under a leaf, said Tess. Leo the lizard had been hiding. Okay. Do you remember what day it was when Tess was looking for her lizard? Was it Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday? If you said Monday, you are correct. What was the lizard's name? It started with the letter L. You're right, it's Leo, Leo the lizard. Where did she end up finding Leo? Was he in the garage? Was he in the closet? Or was he hiding under a leaf in his cage? Think about that one. Yes, he was in his cage hiding under a leaf. Here's a bonus question. Was Leo really lost? Or was Tess just not able to see him? You're right. He wasn't really lost because he was still in his cage. It was just that Tess was not able to see him. Sometimes those things happen. Like sometimes my dog, his name is Cuddly Dudley, he hides under the bed and then I think he's lost and then I look and find him there. All right. Our next one is a great one called Pattis Purse. Some girls carry a purse. Some moms carry a purse. Let's see what happened with Pattis Purse. Patty has a purple purse. In it, she keeps things that start with the letter P. Look inside and you'll see a pizza, a parrot, a popsicle, and a pie. Do you think this was a fiction paragraph or nonfiction? Fiction means it's made up and make-believe. Nonfiction means it's true and real life. You're right, it's fiction because I know she could not have all of those things in her purse. What was the girl's name who had the purse? Yup, it's Patty, just like our assistant Patty who works in our classrooms. What color was her purse? Think hard, it's my favorite color. So some of you might know that. Yup, it's purple. What did they say Patty put in her purse? What were the 4 items that started with the letter P? 3 were foods and 1 was an animal. The animal was the parrot. And then they said she also had pizza, pie, and a popsicle. I don't think anybody's moms walk around with pizza, pies, and popsicles in their purse. That was kind of silly. All right, let's move on to the next one. This one's called Under the Umbrella. I like this one because it's spring right now and we are going to have some rain this week. I think it's going to start raining tonight and then it's going to rain on and off throughout the rest of the week. So make sure you're looking out your window, checking out what the weather is every day, and when it's sunny like it is right now, make sure you get outside and take a little walk maybe with your parents. Or even if you can't get out to take a walk, open your window and get some fresh air. Or open a patio door, or maybe just sit on your patio or deck. All right, here we go. Here's the next story called Under the Umbrella. It was raining. Uncle Al opened up his big umbrella. I'll stay nice and dry under here, he said. He was nice and dry, but not for long. Uncle Al didn't see the big mud puddle. Splish splash. He walked straight through the mud puddle. He wasn't dry anymore. Who had the umbrella? Was it Aunt Susie, Uncle Al, or Mom? You're right, it's Uncle Al. Good job. If you got it wrong though, that's okay too. Let's try our next question. When did Uncle Al open up the umbrella? Did he open it up when it was sunny or when it was rainy? You're right, he opened it when it was rainy. What happened when Uncle Al was walking down the street? Did he stay nice and dry? Did he accidentally step in a big mud puddle? Or did he just go home? You're right, he didn't stay dry for long. He stepped in the big mud puddle and got all muddy and wet. So he wasn't dry anymore. So remember, if you're out with an umbrella, watch where you're walking so you don't go through those big mud puddles. All right. Here's a good one about Fayes Fish. Faye went fishing in the lake. She caught a 4-pound fish. That's big enough to eat, said her dad. I'd rather eat a hot dog, said Faye. So she threw the fish back into the lake. Who went fishing together? Was it Faye and her dad, Faye and her mom, or Faye and her uncle? You're right, Faye went fishing with her dad. How much did Faye's fish weigh? Was it a 2-pound fish, a 3-pound fish, or a 4-pound fish? Think back in the beginning of the story. She caught a 4-pound fish. Why did Faye throw the fish back in the lake even though it was big enough to eat? Did Faye feel sorry for the fish? Did Faye decide she'd rather eat a hot dog? Or did Faye decide she wanted to eat pizza? You're right, she said she'd rather eat a hot dog. I also think maybe we could infer from that Faye didn't want to eat a living fish. And so that's why she thought, oh, that poor fish, he should go back in the lake and let's let him swim for a while. Okay, so some people fish because they're going to catch the fish and eat it. But some people just like to fish for sport and then they catch the fish, and once they've caught it, they take a picture with it and then they throw it back into the lake. All right, let me get our next story up. Oh, this is a fun one. It's called A Tricky Hat Trick. Okay, listen carefully. Make sure you've got your listening ears on. Here's this story. A magician reached into his magic hat. Everyone thought he would pull out a rabbit, but he surprised them and he pulled out a raccoon instead. The audience clapped when they saw the raccoon. Who had a magic hat? Was it the chef? Was it the teacher? Or was it the magician? You're right. The magician had the magic hat. The word magician starts with the word magic, so that's how we know. Magician, magic is the type of person who does magic tricks. Obviously, I don't see our teachers doing magic tricks at school, do we? No. And we know a chef cooks food. Okay. All right, here's our next question. What did everyone think was in the hat? If you're not sure, were they thinking he was going to pull a rabbit out of the hat? or a dove, which is a bird? You're right. People thought he was going to pull out a rabbit. Many magicians do that for their show. They pull a rabbit out of a hat. What did this magician really pull out of his hat instead of a rabbit? Was it a skunk or was it a raccoon? You're right, it was a raccoon. I don't think he'd want a skunk in his magic show, especially if it smelled up the place. Woo! That'd be terrible. So yes, he pulled out a raccoon and the audience applauded. Okay. Okay, here's a good one called Bug in a Mug. Mr. Bill poured coffee into his mug. Then he added a spoonful of sugar and some cream. When he started to take a sip, he noticed something extra was in there. Yikes, there's a big bug in my mug, he said. Who was pouring the coffee? Was it Mr. Bill? Was it Mr. Rich? Or was it Mr. Jamie? You're right, it was a man called Mr. Bill. What did Mr. Bill put in his coffee? Did he put salt, sugar and cream, or pepper? You're right, it was sugar and cream. We would never want to put salt or pepper in our coffee. But cream and sugar make our coffee taste a little bit better. I know some people like coffee, like Anthony, like my friend Mrs. Hildreth, like my friend Caitlin. All right, although I think Caitlin likes iced coffee better. I'll have to ask her. All right, here we go. What else was in Mr. Bill's coffee when he looked into his mug? He said, yikes, there's a bug. You're right, a bug in his coffee. There's that bug sitting in his coffee. I don't think the bug was that big though. Bugs are a little bit smaller, but I think they wanted you to be able to see it. All right, we've got a few more to go and then we'll be done for our speech lesson for today. Okay. Okay, this one's called Wake Up Wanda. Wanda's mom said, "Wake up, Wanda, it's time for school. You need to get dressed, eat your breakfast, brush your teeth, and get your backpack ready." Wanda stretched and yawned and finally got out of bed. So who woke Wanda up in the morning? Was it her sister? Was it her brother? Or was it her mom? Yep, her mom woke her up. I bet your moms or dads wake you up in the morning. Some of you might set an alarm, but mom woke up Wanda. All right, why did Wanda need to wake up? Did she need to go to school? Did she need to go to the doctor? Did she need to go to the dentist? Yep, she needed to go to school. Now, I know we're not going to school every day, but we still need to get up and try to do some schoolwork every day. That's why we're doing videos for you guys, so that you get some extra learning via video. Number 3, what does Wanda need to do before she goes to school? There were 4 things that Wanda needed to do before she went to school. I bet you can name those 4 things. It's something, they're usually things that you do every day before you get to school, right? When you get up, You need to get dressed. Get off those PJs. Then you need to eat some breakfast. Maybe you just eat a little something before you come to school and you eat breakfast at school. Or maybe you just eat at school. But since you're home right now, I bet you're eating breakfast at home. Then what do you need to brush? Yep, your teeth. Make sure they're clean and we've got nice smelling breath, right? And then the last thing is you usually get your backpack ready. So while we're working at home on school, do we need to get our backpack ready? No, we don't need to get the backpack ready. But maybe instead of getting your backpack ready, you're doing things like brushing your hair, washing your face. Remember to keep up our good hygiene routines that we've talked about while you're at home. I know sometimes we practice hygiene and grooming at school. So let's keep practicing good hygiene and grooming at home too, right? All right. Here's our next story. It's called Musical Bob. I bet some of you have little jam boxes like that at home that you use to listen to music. So let's read about Musical Bob. Bob loves music. He listens to the radio or his CD player. If the music is too loud, his dad will say, "Please turn down that music." If that happens, Bob puts on his headphones to listen to his music. All right. What was the name of the boy who loved listening to music? Was it Billy? Was it Jim? Or was it Bob? You're right, it was Bob. What does Bob use to listen to his music? They named two things he might use. One was his radio, correct. The other was a CD player. I know some of you have CD players too. We've talked about that. Some people listen to the radio. And some people use maybe an iPad or an MP3 player. Okay? Or maybe their phones to listen to music. All right, what happens if the music is too loud? Did Bob's dad say, "Turn down that music"? Did Bob have to go into a different room? Or did Bob just sit there and ignore his dad? No. We heard Dad say, "Please turn down that music." And the bonus question is then, what did he do if he didn't just go into a different room or sit there and ignore his dad? He was very polite and courteous. He used his manners and he put on his headphones so that he wasn't bothering his dad when he listened to his music. Okay? Remember, when you put those headphones on, don't listen to it too loud. We don't want to hurt your hearing. Okay? All right, here's our last story. Okay? It's kind of a little twist on Jack and Jill, which is one of those old nursery rhymes we used to do when we were younger. It's called Take a Hike. Jack and Jill hiked up a hill. They wore strong boots so they wouldn't fall down. When they got to the top of the hill, they had a picnic. And then they hiked back down. Okay? It's our like safety version of Jack and Jill. All right. Why did Jack and Jill wear strong boots? Was it because it was raining out? Was it so they wouldn't fall? Or was it because they didn't have gym shoes? It was so they wouldn't fall. Okay, those strong boots were very grippy on the bottom and they helped them get up the hill. What did they do when they got to the top of the hill? Did they play soccer or did they have a picnic? You're right, they had a picnic. Very good. Think about some things you like to have if you go on a picnic. Maybe you bring sandwiches, maybe you bring fruit, maybe you bring some chips, some bottles of water, maybe a treat like cookies. So there's a lot of things you can do on a picnic. All right, finally, when they were done with their picnic, what did they do? They went back hiking down the hill. Yes, they hiked back down the hill. So that's going to wind up our time for today. Good job doing these practice lessons for what we call auditory memory. So you're listening to a story and then you're remembering what you heard and then you're able to answer all of those WH questions. Who, what, where, when, why. Okay, so remember, when you're watching a TV show or a movie, ask yourself those questions. Who are the characters in the story? Who are the characters of a movie? What are they doing? Where are they doing it? When are they doing it? Either what time of day, what season, what day of the week? And why do they do the things they do? So sometimes you have to really think about the why questions, okay? All right. Well, I just want to say goodbye for today. I miss all of you, and I will have another video lesson for you tomorrow. Okay? All right. Take care. Bye-bye.